blood. What's that? Oh, okay. Thank you. It's acidic on my lips.
Well, welcome back here. How are you feeling?
I'm okay.
Can you pick up the microphone?
Oh, sorry. Not used to this. Hello, everybody. I'm like a Joanne Caldwood #2 with my squeaky voice, so hi. How am I doing? I'm happy. I'm thankful. I'm also very... Oh, look, there's me on the back of the screen. I normally like taking my glasses off, but then I go cockeyed, so I'm going to put them back on. I'm annoyed at myself because prior to this interview, like before the fight, I was like, I want to show everyone that I'm not your typical female. Like, I like a ding-dong, I like a scrap. And yes, I did that, but I felt like I did that in a very scrappy way. And I like to think that I'm a more technical fighter than I gave in my performance today. I mean, yes, my grappling was all right. I could have done even more, I think, in my grappling, but she was holding on to my gloves, so... that needs a star over it, sorry. I'm happy I won. I'm happy I won my UFC debut. Molly McCann messaged me earlier in the week saying, be the first English female to win their debut, and I've done that, so yay to me. I want to give a better performance next time, and that's my initial first thought.
Well, you say you were scrappy in there. The fans like scrappy, so I would maybe look at that in a positive way. I know you're saying you want to be more technical, but the fans like scrappy.
The fans like MMA, and MMA is a mess, and my name is No Mess Mullins, and in some way that's very contradictory to, I guess, what MMA is. I guess I like to try and be a bit of a perfectionist in some kind of way, and massively that's a negative thing for me, because then I start reflecting and being, oh, I should have done this better and I should have done that better. But yeah, you're right. I guess landing a nice elbow and going away with a broken nose and blood down my face and carrying on the fight is what they want to see. So if you like that, I'm happy I made that fight for you. But unfortunately for me, I want to be a better striker in that cage.
What was this fight week like for you, first time in the UFC? How different was it than all your other fights? What was the experience like for you?
First of all, I'd like to thank the PI team, the nutrition team and the reception, and the physio team. They, for me, have built this fight week to be a much easier and calmer week. I've said in prior interviews that I've really struggled with my... Oh, there's a lot of blood. With my weight. I wanted to come in at 145, but nobody wants 145ers anymore. I'm 32. I was struggling to get to 135, and somehow, in my 14 fights, this being my 15th fight, this has been my easiest cut. I went through 4 processes to make weight, 2 the night before and 1 in the morning of, and I walked in at 61 kilos on the dot, just under, without nearly divorcing my husband. You're laughing, but honestly, he sometimes has come away from these weight cuts like, what the frick am I doing? And yeah, to hand over that responsibility to a team that clearly knows what they're doing, I can't wait to do that process again and almost just focus on the fighting and the skill set of bringing a better fighter to that cage rather than nutrition.
You mentioned the glove grab. Was there anything else about your opponent that you observed in the fight? Either something different than you expected?
Yeah, she hit a lot harder than I thought. And she was awkward, like her timing was weird, but she was a lot less, I would say, scrappy. I would say she's a lot cleaner than the footage that I've previously seen. So props to her for those improvements. But I didn't expect her to turn away from me and drop her hands and basically be there to not fight. She was just hoping to win. And that's what I saw from that performance. She hit hard and hoped. That was it.
I'm sure you don't know this because you can't hear her corner, but between rounds 2 and 3, she said, I can't feel my legs. Did you kind of feel her a difference in referee?
No, she calf kicked me and her calf kicks hurt my calf. So I don't know where that come from. I'm glad she couldn't feel her legs. Made my fight more. I didn't feel that. I think I was more focused on me. I'm not focused on her. I was focused on being the winner of that fight and fighting. So even if something hurt me, like I know my nose was broken at some point in that fight. I can't remember what round it was, but we're fighting. I ain't gonna let those excuses get in my head prior to the win.
What's next for you? When do you want to get back in there? Do you have an opponent or a date in mind?
I don't have an opponent and I don't have a date. I'm not going to be like, get me back in there as soon as possible, because I'm not ready for jumping in there in 6 weeks' time. I want to go back, build a bit more confidence in my ability to showcase to whoever's watching this interview right now and whoever watched that fight then, that when I go in there next time, I'm not going to be so sloppy and I'm not going to be coming out to an interview like this being so hard on myself. I think I've got a broken nose, so I need to get that recovered. It's a reoccurring injury now, I guess, for the foreseeable future. So after that's recovered, then we'll talk. I want to be the better fighter in that cage every time, and I don't want to go in there with any excuses. So if I'm injured, there's no point of putting that on the back burner and trying to get more money. I want to fight and perform, and that's what's going to put me to the top, not fighting just for money. Although money would be nice. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, dude.
How was it fighting in Las Vegas?
I come out a week early because I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to acclimatize because your eye is dry as hell. I've had blood in my nose for the last week and a half, and it finally went away, so I can breathe. Your food is tasty. Your dipped ice cream is absolutely lovely. We don't have that in the UK, and my husband absolutely loves your In-N-Out burger. I definitely wouldn't make 135 if I lived here. But I like the people, I like the food, and I've enjoyed the experience.
6-0, got your first UFC win. How does that feel? Because I kind of want to ask too, is like, you know, going pro in 2021, like, did you think you'd be in the UFC right now?
No, I didn't vision it. As I said, I'm 32. Weight cuts were getting hard, and that become really unenjoyable. When you're 32 and you hit this part of your career, it's either you fight or you have family. At what point do I stop fighting? For me, the answer to that question is when I stop enjoying it. I enjoyed this process very highly, to the point of family is still going to sit on the back burner for me. As nice as it would be to have kids, we run a great kids class, and for now they're going to have to do. To be in a UFC has never been a dream. I haven't been that 5-year-old that's done kickboxing. I started football, breakdancing, and fighting fell in my lap, and I've rolled with it ever since it did. To be here proves the hard work that I've put in order to be here. So, Melissa of Dixon, welcome to the UFC.
Congratulations and enjoy it.
Thank you, dude.
Hey, Melissa.
Hey, dude. Your shirt is absolutely dazzling.
Thank you. What was, with this being your UFC debut at the Apex, is fighting in Vegas something you'd want to do again and again, or have you got one eye on, the UFC shows in England with the, fervent support that UFC's built over back home? Is that a card you'd want to compete on?
To say no would be stupid, of course, but what I like about the Apex is everything here is to hand, and I can hear him. Like, him is my husband, sorry. I think that's a luxury. To be able to hear your corner is a luxury. Like, I can hear what to do. When you're out there, you're blank space. Like, you guys saw that I got knocked down in the fight. I hadn't realised I got knocked down in the fight. Somehow I stood back up and clarity was there again. You don't have your own thoughts in that cage. And all I kept hearing was, Melissa, don't fall into a scrap. Melissa, stop being messy. However that interpreted in my mind. I was knocking her with my jab, and her head was rocking back. And somehow I've got to talk about the fight again when we talked about being fighting in the Apex. I would fight in the Apex again because I really enjoyed it. And as I said, fighting with your corner so clear is a luxury for me.
You mentioned that you were the first English woman to win on her debut in the UFC, and the post-fight interview was with Michael Bisping, the first UFC champion from Britain. Did that feel like a cool moment for you to have that with him in the cage?
I hadn't realised that, so for you to tell me that, that's a cool moment to think of. Me and Michael Bisping are some kind of weight on the same level. Like, write that down in your book. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. Am I done? Oh, pictures. Thank you.